Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Williams. This is the progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. Remember, you can also send me a tweet to EGBERTOWILLIES. That is, at Egberto Williams. Let us engage. It is politics done right.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics and Right. I'm Egberto Williams, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of me. I hope you had a great weekend. I had a pretty workful weekend as usual, but you know what? I took actually about 4 hours on Saturday to go have a little break. Group of friends got together and had a little 4-hour party, and then I came back home and did what I had to do. Start preparing for all the videos that we did over the debate, and that's what I did for today. I have quite a few outtakes that I had from the Democratic debate. I have a few of the different candidates, people making a stance, having something to say, so that's what I'm going to be doing today. If you guys can tell me if the volume is all that it should be. We were having some problems. We're actually having some serious problems on Friday. I hope that the phones are fixed. I went through some wiring and checked out two of the mixers and kind of traced it all down, and it seemed to have corrected the problem. So what would be a good thing is if anybody that's listening that normally calls in to give me a call right up front. Let's see if we are working as we should with the program. I'd love for somebody to call in early so that we can make sure that we've got that problem licked. Make sure that it's okay. Anyhow, what are we going to talk about today? Before we get busy, what I really want to talk about is I want to talk about before we get into the outtakes that I took, before we get into the candidates, etc. I want to talk a little bit about the reaction. And by the way, I need to give a errata here. I didn't put out a blog for the show today. And the reason I don't have a blog out today is that for some reason we are unable to upload pictures. We're unable to upload anything to our blog, politicsdoneright.com. And as such, we couldn't get to update the blog. So what I'm going to do is we're going to have the show as usual, and I'll go ahead and edit the blog afterwards so that everybody can get a chance to see what it's all about. And then it also remember that it does, or it will, make it into the newsletter as well as it does every day. So bear with me, but I want to talk about Castro. I want to talk about Bernie. I want to talk about these different things because there is an interesting thing that I think you guys have to notice about a double standard and when you know that the fix is in. I don't know if you guys remember. I want anybody to tell me. Let me put up the chat room here in case folks either on YouTube or whatever send me a chat message. I'd like you to send me whatever message you can. But I want to ask you a question. Do you remember what was the biggest lie in 2000, what was that? Let's see, PolitiFact, biggest lie. They named it the biggest lie, Obama's biggest lie, right? What I want to do is kind of show you how they did that, right? They called Obama's position on if you want your doctor, you can keep it too. If you want your doctor, you can keep it. Biggest lie. I want to read what it said because it is very important that we see lie of the year. I think it's what it was called. Lie of the year. If you like your healthcare plan, you can keep it. That is what PolitiFact put out there. And it says it was a catchy political pitch and a chance to calm nerves about his dramatic and complicated plan to bring historic change to America's health insurance system. If you like your healthcare plan, you can keep it, President Obama said many times of his landmark new law. But the promise was impossible to keep. So this fall, as cancellation letters were going out to approximately 4 million people, only 4 million of the hundreds of million people. Let me take this call first, just to make sure that they can hear me. 765. I'm coming to you. 765. Can you hear me?
Testing. Is it working?
Yeah. Can you hear me? 765.
Yes, I can.
Great. So we're working perfectly. Who am I speaking to?
You're speaking to Mike Newton.
To who?
In Indiana.
Oh, great. Did you want
Mike
to add to the program before I get started, or were you just calling to help me out?
No, I just called in to help you out.
I really appreciate it. As I always tell people, I have the best listeners, bar none. Thank you so kindly, Mike.
Okay, take care.
Bye. Okay, best people in the world listen to Politics Done Right, because whether they agree with me or not, great people. Anyhow, so that is what PolitiFact put out there. PolitiFact said, it's a lie, what Obama said. They didn't try to qualify it, right? What Obama said was, yeah, if you like your plan, you can keep it too. But this is a private system. No governmental official can just tell you in absolute terms, if you like your private healthcare plan, you can keep it, because guess what? Your employer can change the plan tomorrow and it has nothing to do with Obamacare. Not only that, Obamacare has rules. If these rules that says you have to take care of the patients and treat them like human beings and make sure all is okay. So all these things, what Obama should have said, if you like your insurance plan and it was a valid insurance plan and it was a legal insurance plan and it was a humane insurance plan, and if your employer decided that they were going to continue to pay for it, you can keep it. He could have given that long paragraph and it would have been true, but instead he gave a short version of the paragraph. If you like your health care, your health insurance, you can keep it. And they knocked him out. They didn't try to find any form, any ways to try to correct or to say, it may be a problem only if. They didn't try to help Obama out when they were trying to score his lie or not lie. They simply called it false and the biggest lie of the year. They called that the biggest lie of the year. How much of what Donald Trump has said so far has been called the biggest lie of the year? I don't know. But the reason I brought this preamble, I wanted to show you how the system works. Okay? Now, Castro, in the debate on Thursday, Biden definitively said, you buy into, if you lose your insurance or whatever, you can buy into Medicare. Castro says, mine is automatic. There's no paper to fill out or anything to buy in. With Biden, you have to make a deterministic effort. You will be accepted, but you have to make the deterministic effort to buy in. So Castro made that distinction because that is what a debate does. You're on the debate stage, you start to make a distinction. Now Biden goes ahead and says, that's not what I said, that's not what I said. And if Castro accepts that is not what Biden says and doesn't push back on that, in effect, Biden will be saying, you are misstating what I said. You are lying about what I said. That is what Biden is in effect telling Castro. So Castro returned and said, you said that half hour ago. And Biden comes back, no, I didn't. And then Castro said, well, have you forgotten? That is what you said. And there is the transcript that shows that is what Biden said. Okay. So what happens now? The system is going crazy. Here's what it says. The problem with your plan, I want to read the trend. This is very important, folks. I know sometimes it can get tedious, but the way to remember what we are here for. I want you to really understand what we are here for. We are here to tell the truth, and we are here to make sure that you are not snowed by the mainstream media. And this is important. This is very important that we get this out, because right now they are attacking good old Castro, for being rude, for calling Mr. Biden senile. I am calling Biden senile, but others are. You can't do that. I mean, that is the wrong thing to do, right? But the guy just did what you're supposed to do in a debate. You're supposed to debate. And if you catch somebody saying something offhand, you catch that person doing on-hand, and you use it as your positive. That is what you do in a debate. Castro did nothing wrong. As I'm trying to get a few things out here as I'm doing three things at the same time as I make this argument, but I'm going to be fully in control in 1 second right now. Now here's the deal, folks. I want to read you the transcript because it's important. It is extraordinarily important. This is what it says. And 208, I'm coming to you in a little bit. It says the following. Castro said, "The problem with your plan is that it leaves 10 million people uncovered. The difference between what I support and what you support, Vice President, is that you require them to opt in, and I would not require them to opt in. They would automatically be enrolled. That is a big difference, because Barack Obama's vision was not to leave 10 million people uncovered. He wanted every single person in this country uncovered. My plan will do that." Biden says, "They do not have to buy in. They do not have to buy in." Castro said, "You said that. You said that 2 minutes ago." "No, you just said that 2 minutes ago, that they had to buy in." "I said they cannot if they cannot afford it." You said they have to buy in. Then Biden buy in, so then Castro said, "Are you forgetting what you said 2 minutes ago? Are you forgetting already?" Look, here's the deal. That is what he said. That is what Biden said. And not only that, let's go beyond that. Biden just wants a public option, which will still leave thousands. Greetings to you, Raynard Blake, which would leave thousands from YouTube, which would leave millions uninsured. Biden's plans leave millions uninsured. Medicare for all ensures every single person walking in America. Okay? So now, what does what is the name of the PolitiFact? What is PolitiFact going to do now? And this is the sad part. PolitiFact rates what Julian Castro does now as a lie. He said it's a lie. Mostly false is what it's rated. And to do that, they go through hoops to say that is not what the president meant. That is not exactly what he was talking about. They try to find a way to protect Biden. They didn't do that with Obama. Obama did something concrete. And 4 million people out of several hundred million people lost their insurance and had to pick up another plan. They couldn't keep the particular plan that they were on, but they could get a similar plan. It was ranked the worst, the biggest lie in the world, in the whole year, the biggest lie of the year. Castro told the truth. They say they go ahead and they say, well, that is not exactly what the vice president mean. I'm coming to you, callers. Please hold with me, but I want to get this out. Now, here's the other kicker. The real thing, if somebody wanted to do something about what was the real thing of the night, was the dismissive with which Biden treated the woman reporter, the black reporter that asked him a question. She catered it. She was nice. She gave the preposition to the sentence. She did everything perfectly. Asking him about reparations, asking him about certain things that he said. I don't want to pay the price of what my ancestors. I mean, a whole lot of stuff Biden has to say. And he asked that question. And I was so happy that Anand Giraharadas did the perfect thing and got the 10-second clip that showed the disdain in his face and the snicker and the smile and the, what did he call, and the way he reacted to her. As if I don't want to talk about that crap. And you know what? He didn't talk about it. Anytime Biden talks about black people, he talks about black people about as if all black people are poor, all black people are in need. He is from another era, from another time. Everybody, well, that's who Obama picked for his president. I'm trying to tell folks, they're correct. Obama picked him for the presidency exactly for the reason of who he is. Somebody who racists would vote for. That is why Obama picked him. When you're picking people, you're saying, this person will bring this group in for me. This person would bring that group in for me. This person would bring that group in for me. Biden brought a particular group. America nicely like to call them the working class. When they talk about the working class, they usually mean the sector of blue-collar workers who are white with a subsection who are racist. That's what they mean. That is what they mean. You ask any pollster, they won't quite say that in English, but that is what they mean. And Obama knew exactly why he chose Biden. Now, our Democratic Party is asking us to pick a two-time loser in a primary who has all kinds of problems, plagiarism problems even that went this year, women problem that as far as the way he talks about women, racial problems when who he associated with and the kind of nomenclature that he gives. Come on, people. And the folks that what they do not understand is that here's what's going to happen. Let me tell you what's going to happen. The first thing that's going to happen is let them old black people continue to support Biden. Let them continue to support Biden. Let me tell you what happens. When the election comes around, Donald Trump and his team will be very efficient at that time when there is no turning back to go ahead to all those black folks that are supporting Biden and make the case that makes Biden look even worse than he is. Worse than he is. You see, people always talk to me about the South. How do you like living in the South? People in the South are so racist. Actually, people in the South are no more racist than people in the North. People in the South are more honest with their racism than they are up North. But I love when I know who I'm talking to because I can always make adjustments. I can always talk to them. I can actually talk to them into being better people. So let's get this right now. And black people that are listening to me, white people with black friends who support Biden, tell them the truth. You know it. Tell them the truth. Because we need to get there. I'm going to go to the calls and then I'm going to continue with my rant. But this is important. I am so concerned with how much effort is made to prop up a Biden that cannot win. When PolitiFact jumps on the bandwagon to go into hoops to try to bring it out to Biden, it tells you something. 208, you're hot. Come on in.
Hi there, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, my friend. Talk to me.
So, with regards to Biden and the debate, God, I hate to call in just to agree with you, but it's a fact.
I don't want you to call it to agree with me. You can call it disagree with me if you want, my friend.
No. I do agree with you, but it's like I like a contrast of opinion as well because I think that kind of feeds the dialogue sometimes. But in this case, I mean, you can't really disagree with what you're saying because it's the truth. And here's the question, right? If Biden is so electable versus Trump, why does he need to be protected against Democrats? Because anybody who thinks the Democrats, and I'll be the first one to admit that, nobody likes to see Grandpa get punched in the face. And that's kind of what happened when Castro went after Biden. People had a reaction, a visceral reaction to the fact that a younger man was attacking an older man in what they felt was an unfair way. Put that aside and look at the reality of things. Does anybody doubt for a second that in the general election against Trump, that Biden isn't going to have to deal with a lot worse than that? And if he can't handle Castro, how is he going to handle Trump and the 60 million Twitter followers?
Look,
how electable is he if he can't take a punch from a Democrat?
Look, you are so right about that. What is your name, sir? I'm sorry.
Joe.
Joe, let me tell you, it is even if it is worse than that, right? Because all these organizations are purported that are kind of propping up Biden are purported to be progressive organizations, right? And what I've shown when I show the issue, yeah, exactly. When I show the issue,
you notice how progressivism is a dirty word in Democratic politics before 2016.
Exactly. What's interesting, my friend, is that I look at it as even more dangerous than just Biden, right? Because when a lot of people use things like PolitiFact or whatever, I'm going to put you on hold a second while I talk and then come back to you. While people use PolitiFact as a place, we can go to PolitiFact to see if it's true or not, the biggest problem about it is that when PolitiFact starts to do what they're doing to prop up certain candidates, it creates a problem because at that point, they're no longer partial. Joe, what happens then, Joe, is that it is very easy then for it to be, even when they're right, not to take it. But here's a deeper problem. The deeper problem is how comes Castro and Obama get the treatment that they got, and Biden somehow is protected just about from everything. And that doesn't only go with PolitiFact. That goes with the party itself. How many times would the party have supported a stumble?
I'm not able to hear you, but
go ahead, Joe.
It's tuning out for some reason. But I agree with what you're saying. The problem is, it's been culturally forbidden to discuss anything of consequence for fear of offending people. You can't talk about politics. You can't talk about religion. There's so many things we can't talk about for fear of offending other people. So we're falling into this era where everybody's uneducated because nobody knows how to have a dialogue about these things because we have no practice at it. So people become dependent on things like PolitiFact. People become dependent on the mainstream media. And when 6 companies own the bulk of media, how diverse is the viewpoint that you're getting?
Joe, you hit the nail on the head. That is the reason why we are creating these independent networks, because this is what we're doing. It's not only politics done right, but there are several others that are out there that are trying to do exactly that. We are fed up with what we get with the mainstream media, and what we do is we call them out. So what we are doing today is calling out PolitiFact. And you see, what PolitiFact did was gave all the network TVs that are supporting Biden a cover, because now they could actually go report that, Castro wasn't even right with his attack on Biden. PolitiFact rated it false, and they don't even have to take the brunt of the misrepresentation because they can throw it off to one.
But it isn't false. It isn't false. That's the problem. You look at his plan. If you analyze his plan, if you look at everything that's within his plan, there is zero doubt that at the minimum, 10 million Americans will remain uncovered under his plan.
Right.
There's no getting around that.
That is absolutely true. And again, that they are using PolitiFact as the cover. And I'm saying the media. It's interesting.
It becomes a shield, a way to shield from having to ask tough questions and have the accountability.
Let me tell you, Zerlina Maxwell, and I may go ahead and play that for the folk again, because Zerlina Maxwell hit that number on the head, right? They were, she was doing an interview, and she finally got fed up, and she said, no, Castro wasn't all right. In fact, I'm going to play it. Is there anything else you want to add? I think that's an important piece for me to play.
Well, two really quick points, right? If you look at the debate and you look at the totality of the debate, I see two things. Pete Buttigieg knows he's not going to win, and he is actively auditioning for Secretary of Education. Booker knows he's not going to win, and in my opinion, he's auditioning for Secretary of HUD. every talking point from both of those throughout the night somehow wound up going back to their position on this. And if you listen to Bernie's plan on education, I have a suspicion that Pete Buttigieg would be perfectly happy being Secretary of Education under Bernie Sanders.
I think, you know what, I think you are
If you listen to the replies on education on both of those, it's like, what Pete Buttigieg say? You need somebody who wants to be Secretary of Education, who thinks education is important. He goes, I believe education is important. And then everything outlined dovetails into Bernie Sanders' position on education and what needs to happen with the Department of Education. If you look at the HUD issues, the way they're framed by Warren and Sanders, you can see that Booker is able to dovetail nicely into both of those with regards to HUD. And honestly, as young as those two guys are, it'd be a great way for them to demonstrate that their ideas actually have merit and can work. But they would only work under an administration that approached things from a progressive viewpoint.
You know something, Joe? You know, I say, I have the smartest callers on the planet. I think you're onto something.
Listen to the words. Listen to their words. Listen to the way they outline it. Go back and listen to those two portions of the speech with regards to urban development and issues of the urban environment from Cory Booker, and on the topic of education from Pete Buttigieg. If you listen to what Bernie had to say on education and then you listen to what Pete had to say on education, I think he's auditioning for the role at this point.
You got it, brother. Look, thank you so kindly for calling in, my brother. Anything else you want to say real quickly?
That's it. Thank you very much for everything that you do, as always.
Thank you, sir. You have a wonderful day now.
You too.
Bye-bye. All right, folks. What I want to do is I want you to listen. You heard the discussion that I had with Joe and how the people, how they twist things. When you have a good pundit on that doesn't play ball, I want you to listen to this discussion with Zerlina Maxwell when they were talking about that what he did. I think this is it. I think this is it. If not, I'll stop it midstream.
I mean, we've had this same debate. We had it 4 years ago when there were so many Republicans on stage. Do you hurt yourself as a party by going after the front runner or front runners? Not on policy, but in a way that whether it is or not feels personal. Sure.
I look through Hillary Clinton, so I'm here to say that when you attack the front runner personally, that can damage the party overall and depress turnout when it comes time to need it in the general election. So I think that, every candidate should be very careful when they're trying to critique the other candidates in the race on personal terms. I see this a little bit differently than the rest of the pundits. While I agree with the premise that it was a little bit mean-spirited, I think Joe Biden can handle it. And if he cannot handle it, then he cannot be the nominee of the party.
Well, I don't think necessarily say if
he needs to be able to take
help
some critiques. He needs to be able to take some critiques. And he's been in the race a couple of months, and they're already complaining about the fact that he has faced unprecedented attacks. Hillary Clinton would like a word. I do not think that many of the attacks that have been laid out against Joe Biden are unfair.
Who didn't feel that they were getting more attacks than anybody.
Sure, but that doesn't. But again, going back to the facts here, Joe Biden
helped Joe Biden because he seemed to come out the better of that back and forth.
I don't think so. No. If you go back and review the text, and it's important to read the text of his answer.
People are not going to do that.
Well, I think that they should, Chris, because we need to be informed voters, and the folks watching, they can go and check the text of his answer specifically on the question of his quote about slavery, because that was a lot more mean-spirited in my view than the exchange between him and Castro, because essentially his answer was completely tone deaf. If you're an African-American family listening to Joe Biden say, well, Black people don't know how to take care of their kids, they don't know what to do, and they need help, and turn on the record player. I mean, if you go back and review that particular moment, I think that was the weak point.
That was going to be
last night.
That was going to be my next question about what seemed to be a fall off. Some people have suggested in the third hour of the debate, and you get asked very specifically about reparations.
Yeah.
And your answer is that you should play a record player.
Yeah, no, it was completely out of touch, but I think it goes to the heart of essentially what Julian Castro inartfully tried to point out in that exchange, which is Joe Biden the candidate for this particular moment with this particular coalition of voters that we need to turn out in order to win. In order to mirror the Obama coalition, you're going to need black millennials to turn out. And when we listen, I'm a black millennial, so when I hear Joe Biden answer a question about slavery, when the question was, you said I shouldn't have to pay and be responsible for what happened 300 years ago, that's wildly offensive. And yet, on its face. And yet, if you remember 2007 and 8, the reason why a lot of the African American support flipped from Hillary Clinton to Barack Obama, in addition to his win in Iowa, was the tone deafness of Bill Clinton's comments in South Carolina. And I'm just saying that I can sort of posit out how this could be a weakness for Joe Biden in the future if he continues to say tone-deaf things that appear to be out of touch with where black millennials are, because I think that his support is largely African Americans over the age of 50 years old, and that is not enough people to win the general election.
And if you notice what Zerlina did something to the media that was very, very important. She said, if you read the text of the transcript, you will see that Julian Castro was correct. Biden said opt in. And as Joe, our previous caller, pointed out, Biden's plans leaves millions of people uninsured. So those are facts. Now, here's the deal. What did the host say? The host said, well, most people are not going to read. Then Zerlina, well, they probably should. But Zerlina missed saying one thing. She said, but you know what? That's what you are here for. You know people are not going to read, so you don't let somebody come on air and snow you. You don't let a PolitiFact come on air and say, well, Biden didn't really say that, or Biden didn't really mean it. When somebody says that, you pull out the transcript as being the host of a news show that's you're on 24 hours. You have so many things in a loop just going over and over and over again. Can you try some truth? Can you try putting truth in these loops? Zerlina hit it on the money. You be the instructor. Since people are not going to read, but people are going to watch you, be there to be the fourth estate. Be there to tell them the truth. That's all you got to do as a reporter. That's all you have to do as a host of a program, and then you would have done your job. Castro is getting a bad rap. The whole system coalesced around Biden. If this continues and they are successful in coalescing around Biden, and if Biden somehow wins the nomination, yes, Democrats, like all of us who go out there and vote and know that we got to keep it blue, for very technical reasons, are going to go out there and vote for him. But rest assured that the black and brown community will be targeted by the right. And I can't blame them for doing that. If you put somebody like Biden, an old-timer with old views that have a lot of these things inculcated in his psyche, if you decide to put him back in, you deserve to lose. We would have deserved to lose. So folks, it is time to wake up. Next poll sequence, we better start seeing some movement. Luckily today, great big news. My two candidates, the two people that I think are the ones who have earned the progressive mantra, the people who have earned to receive your vote because they are support. And notice what I'm saying here. I am not putting any of these candidates on a pedestal, neither Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, or any of them. But for the policies articulated by Bernie Sanders, for the policies articulated by Elizabeth Warren, those are the two candidates that would have earned the progressive vote. Those are the two candidates that I am proposing folks should really examine in detail, because again, no other candidate is presenting look, You know, one person calls it democratic socialism, the other person call it responsible capitalism, or some kind of capitalism. You guess where they intersect? Exactly. So those are the people who, in my humble opinion, have earned the right and will excite a base, because it's going to be a people saying, people say, oh, people are not looking for a transformational economy. Old people with money are not looking for a transformational economy because they took it. They don't want a transformational economy. They don't want a 2% tax on their assets, while all Americans are paying percentages on assets like their cars, their homes, and everything else. But you talk about touching rich people's assets. Oh, you can't do that, but rich people want your asset taxed. Ask rich people if they would like to reduce the property tax on your home. No, they won't. Ask them if they would like you to give up your social. You know what? It's so interesting how evil our system is. So you can make billions of dollars, and you're only going to pay Social Security in the first $110,000. $110,000, some of these people make every minute. Look, let me tell you, what America needs right now is transformational change. And if anybody think with the dire straits that people are in right now, and like I said, Americans are great at suffering in silence. Americans know how to suffer in silence because nobody's telling anybody else how badly they're doing or anything of that nature. So they know. Hi, David Lafferty, Melissa Noble, Art in the Dark, Lee Grant, and Renard Blake. Nobody likes to suffer in view because, I remember listening to a Les Brown talk one time. He's a guy. He's one of the guys that have made me the most headstrong in a long time. I was still putting Willie's computer software company together, and things were very rough. I was $100,000 and change in credit card debt at 19 to 21% interest, I think it was, and things just weren't looking good. And I'm sitting down there writing software and putting things together. And I remember at 3 a.m. or something like that, listening to Les Brown on one of those crazy cable channels. Those days with that big fat cable thing. And Les Brown says, don't be complaining to other people. People, you complain, get off, The one thing is when you're on your back, when you're on the floor on the back, there's only one place you can go, up. Then I remember when he said also, and don't be begging and asking people, look at what done happened to me. You know why? Because they're going to be scared that the same thing's going to happen to them. Americans are in dire straits. Nobody talks. Very few people talk. Even some of the most boisterous ones talking against their own interests are in trouble. Eventually, the Johnson theory will stop working. Eventually, the Johnson theory will stop working. The President Johnson theory. And here's the deal. I won't tell you guys what the President Johnson theory is. I'd like to see somebody write it either on YouTube's message or on Facebook message, or give me a call and tell me what the Johnson message is. When the Johnson theory is no longer valid, this place is going to blow up. Americans better hope that progressives like myself and others who are trying to have a soft landing of a rather evil economic system, they will better hope that we are able to say, yes, please institute Medicare for all. Yes, please do student loan forgiveness. Yes, please let's do these things to make this a more palatable system. Why? Because I'm from a part of the world where it's constant chaos. Because when people don't have anything to lose, they don't have anything to lose. Remember that. When people no longer have anything to lose, they have nothing to lose. And when they are in that state, I don't care if you're an American citizen, I don't care what you are. Humans react the same. That is when people realize we're all humans, right? when we're all in dire straits, when we're all in the foxhole, all the false crap, the fallacies of race, the fallacies of ethnicity, the fallacies of religion means nothing. They shouldn't mean anything. I mean, race is a stupid thing, but I still have to cater much of what I say with race because that is what Americans have been taught to understand. Even though we know, like I preach all the time, it is stupid. But anyhow, let's have a little bit of fun here. Let's have some fun. I had some great interviews with people at the Democratic debate. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go to a Biden supporter. Let's listen to a Biden supporter. What did this Biden supporter have to say at the convention? Here we go. There you go. All right. Hello, ma'am. What's your name?
Amy.
Amy, evidently, you are a real Biden supporter.
Absolutely.
Why are you supporting the past?
That you call it the past.
I told you I was going to be tough on you.
Because the past is happening right in front of your face. So if you consider this the past, the day when Joe Biden is stepping up to take his spot, as he should have 4 years ago,
yes,
then we will be back on track. So that is not the past. That is the future, my man.
Okay, so let's talk the future.
Go.
What is Biden going to do for our future?
Well, you know, he's an amazing leader. I'm not going to try and break down his strategies because I'm not on the inside. I'm on the outside. I know what I want, and I know what my friends want.
What do you want?
What I want is United States of America. All of us together again. And healthcare and the environment.
Right.
Those are my three top points.
Now, I would imagine because you're with Biden, you probably are not a supporter of Medicare for all, but likely of extending Obamacare or improving Obamacare.
Well, it's not called Obamacare, first of all.
Affordable Care Act.
Thank you. That's codified its name.
Okay.
Some people use that in a derogatory way.
I love it as Obama does care.
Well, he does. He does, but he unfortunately can't be our president right now.
Right.
So we need someone who worked in the Obama ways. We had many good relationships in this world before the demon took over. And I know that Joe's strong enough to take on that demon, eat him for lunch, and then spit him out.
All right, another question. In the event that he doesn't win, will you support the ultimate nominee?
Well, Joe will be the ultimate nominee.
Again? I am not a Bernie supporter. I'm what's called an activist journalist.
Absolutely.
I support another candidate. If that candidate doesn't make it, and if it is Bernie, if it is Biden, I will be supporting Biden. My question again to you is, will you support the ultimate nominee?
I will vote blue.
Thank you very much. All right. She will vote blue. At least we got that out of her. Now let's go to a Castro supporter. And, the Castro supporter was a pretty tame compared to her. But, I think it's definitely worth a listen to. So here we go.
This time, and I think that in everything he's done, he's become a top-tier candidate, and being in that stage tonight says that.
Now tell me what. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, what separates him from the rest of it? What's his main goal?
Yeah. So I think.
What's his main platform he wants to?
Yeah. So I think if you see our ads and our website and our signs and online, all of our policies are people first. It's not just policy because we look through every decision that's made is through the lens of people making decisions. What is that? Making decisions based on how people are going to be affected in the long run.
Are you a member of the campaign? No, you're not a member of the campaign. Let me tell you something. I don't know. Are you a Democrat?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, go ahead.
Sure, yeah.
No, but the reason I said that is a Democrat asking that question is valid. Tell me what it means on the ground.
Yeah, like what are the policies? Not like specific, like A, B, and C. What is he gonna? What does he want to do as far as his main platform?
Yeah, so I mean, I think
People First is great, but
I think if you've had a chance to read, we've been the first to lead on a lot of issues on immigration, on climate justice, on education, on housing. We were the first to put. Secretary Castro was the first to put out policies.
No, I want to ask you specifics actually. Then let's go this way. Does Castro support Medicare for all?
Yes.
Does Castro support the Green New Deal?
Yes.
Does Castro support forgiveness of student loans?
There's been some mention of
okay, so that's not, he hasn't decided that yet. Okay. So does he support immigration reform?
Yes.
In respect to the people that are currently in this country getting their papers together?
Yeah, I think we were the first to lead a major immigration policy, the first candidate to put together an immigration platform, and I think a lot of that had to do. Where I think a lot of that has led the conversation on immigration that the candidates have been having about the way we treat immigrants in the country right now, and not just folks who are coming over from all different parts.
Okay, what about TPP? There's an interested dichotomy with TPP. You know anything about that?
Sure, I think I'm not a good person to answer questions.
Okay, good.
Right,
well, I won't ask you to speculate then, but thank you so kindly.
Yeah, sure, of course.
I appreciate it.
Sure.
All right.
This time, and I think that in everything he's done, he's become a...
That was from the Castro campaign. Now let's go ahead and go to the Yang campaign. We had a spokesperson for the Yang campaign as well. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go here and...
Hello, sir. What's your name?
My name is Fred.
Fred, where do you live?
I live in Maricopa, Arizona.
Okay, you're here as a supporter of Andrew Yang. Talk to me.
So, Andrew Yang is very, very innovative, and he's a true Democrat. What I really, really like about him is his humanity first. He has several policy positions. Actually, he has about over 100 policy positions on his website. But his flagship policy is the freedom dividend. And the freedom dividend, you're going to see, Amazon is taking 30% of retail jobs while paying zero in taxes. Now, obviously, Amazon can't pay taxes, so he wants to harness those gains rather than give those gains to the government.
I understand his policy as well. Let me tell you what the only issue I have with Andrew Yang is that Andrew Yang is a true capitalist as well. And as a true capitalist, he believes that the market can actually solve our problems. I think people are going to ultimately have to solve our problems since a market is really created by people.
Oh, he's humanity first. So I 100% agree with you. Maybe we disagree on how to get there.
Right. I
as far as me and you. Yeah. But I could tell you he's a freedom dividend of $1,000 a month. By a
universal basic income.
By a mild value-added tax. Medicare for all, and human-centered capitalism. That's
what we got to define. Look, I got to go, but I appreciate speaking to you, sir. And you know what? I want more people engaged, like you are, in studying the candidate that they want, the candidate that they support. So you keep supporting that candidate and bring that thing in, bring those policy positions into the fold, so that everybody can know about it. When we decide to vote, we will pick the person we best think will realize that. Thank you so kindly for the interview.
Do you have somebody you're leaning for?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, sir. What's your name?
That was Andrew Yang. Now here's one for Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi wasn't at the debate, but you had people there to represent her well.
Okay, hey guys.
Hey.
Tulsi is not here for the debate.
That's correct.
But you guys are here to support her.
Absolutely.
Tell me why Americans should be taking Tulsi seriously.
Well, if you're tired of having your tax dollars thrown away in needless regime change wars,
Tulsi is your candidate. She's the only one that can produce a peace dividend by ending the regime change wars, and she will actually do it, freeing up money. All these promises, Yang and everybody else is promising, the first objection will be how are you going to pay for it? What's this going to cost? She's the only one that can say, I already paid for it.
That is one of the assets that I love about her, that she actually served. Right. And I think she has more gumption than most of the... Yes.
She can end those wars without congressional approval. Any war started by a president can be ended, and that's every war we've ever had since World War II, including all of them now.
Well, look, guys, you guys keep supporting the candidates, and when it's ultimately done, all of us blue need to make the commitment that we're voting the ticket.
Well, I wish the DNC believed that.
Yes, absolutely.
But I don't think they do.
We will. No, it doesn't matter what they believe. Yeah. We will make it so. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that was a Tulsi supporter. Now let's go ahead and go for a Bernie supporter. And here we go right this minute.
Mr. Willis?
Hey Kay, how you doing? Longtime Bernie supporter, activist. In other words, talk to me.
What do you want to know?
Tell me, what are your plans for bringing Bernie through in Texas?
Our plans are to do what we did before, but even more so. We're going to canvass. We're going to make sure that people know exactly who Bernie is and how long he's been doing it. So instead of us, we're going to do our hashtag receipts, but we're going to show the receipts as well, because people, especially people of color, and especially my elders of color, we need to know, and they need to know exactly how long Bernie has been down for us.
Now, anybody else have anything to say about Bernie?
I trust him.
Come here. All right, tell me something.
Anything?
Tell me why you're supporting Bernie.
I trust Bernie Sanders because he's been saying what the other candidates had to evolve on and come to when maybe like 51% started to support it. You can see videos. Bernie's been saying those things since the 90s, the 80s, since before I was born.
I think that is something that people do respect, that he's the one who has actually changed the discussion, what you say. Okay.
Mine. You can have
Is that your son? Oh, okay. Yeah, so he's one of the ones that's been saying this for quite some time now.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, anybody else? Bernie supporter? Are you a Bernie?
I support whoever comes out of this process wholeheartedly, just as Bernie says he will.
All right,
and
excellent.
That's the most important factor tonight.
Thank you, brother.
And that was a Bernie supporter. And now what I have here is, let's see if I have enough time for that. I think I have enough time for that. Here's a Cory Booker giving interviews to 3 people. I didn't have any questions for Cory Booker, so I didn't try to get into the gaggle. I just went up into his face with the camera. So here we go.
Right here to our 13-year-old reporter, the youngest reporter in the room, and we're going to give her the time that she needs.
That's not fair.
With so many young people eligible to vote in the 2020 election and their main concern is the climate crisis, why are you really, truly best for the job?
Well, because I know that this is an existential crisis in our country, not 10 years or 25 years from now. It's affecting communities right now. Temperatures going up. As a guy that lives in a vulnerable inner city community, it is exacerbating asthma rates and other respiratory diseases. I visited with vulnerable communities like a Native American community in Louisiana who's already being evacuated because of sea level rise. I feel an urgency on this issue every single day because I know it's going to hurt the most vulnerable populations in our country first, and they're already feeling that pain. And so I know that the people that are going to shape, though, this fight will be young people, whether they can vote or not. This is a fight that we all must be a part of. And I believe I'm the best person, not just to fight this fight, but to excite and energize more unity in this fight so it becomes not a partisan fight, but a national cause, that we not only deal with this issue in our country, but lead the planet in getting this crisis something for the history books and not for our future.
Senator, would you give
I got to go to a fellow ball guy first. What's up?
Good to hear you on guns, and where are you on whether or not you confiscate automatic weapons?
You know, the word confiscation is a word that Republicans use to try to scare gun owners. We had a nation that in the 1980s said that we are no longer going to have machine guns. We don't have machine guns anymore. We did it successfully. If you look around at other countries that realize that these assault weapons are weapons of war, that they're on the theater of war, they found constructive ways to get them off of our streets. Let's stop the fear-mongering. Let's make sure that we are a nation that does not allow weapons of war into our communities. Certainly, the way we're seeing right now, where they're being used in mass shootings, with agonizing regularity.
I promise to answer right here. Party unity.
Go ahead. NJTV. As I'm a Jersey boy, I got to get Jersey.
Here, and you're going to stay within the Roman
What do you think of the idea of the community offering money, thousands of dollars, in terms of perhaps winning their support? How do you see it?
You know, I'm going to let Yang conduct his campaign the way he wants to conduct his campaign. We've got work to do to unite this party and to focus on beating Donald Trump. I'm hoping people who believe in me and my election, especially after what you saw tonight, go to CoreyBooker.com and make a comment.
You too. Are you confident that Joe Biden has what it takes to take on Trump?
I'm running because I think I'm the best person to take on Donald Trump. I think I'm better than Joe Biden, else I wouldn't be in the 60s.
There you go. Okay, I'm going to take the last 3 minutes or so to go through these questions that I have, or statements that I have here. Okay, Raynard Blake said, greetings from Lansing, welcome aboard. Lee Grant, hi all. Obama ran with Biden. Oh, Lee Grant, I think, is taking exception to what I said. Obama ran with Biden to encourage white racists to vote for a black man. Lee Grant, yeah. I know it's not the easiest thing to hear or the most politically correct thing to say, but if you're coming to politics done right, I tell it like it is, and I think people respect that. You know, this is not a politically correct zone at all. You can tell, by now you guys should know that. People tell me everything, they call me just about every name, and if they call back, they still get on my show. So it doesn't matter to me. I think we are going to make progress when we can all tell it like it is. Obama knew Biden very, very well. And when he does his Q and X's and start to figure things out, he figures he will give a certain group of people permission to vote for him. That is why Obama picked Biden. Don't dare think that Obama picked Biden because of some great, Biden was so good for all these great civil rights. It has nothing to do with that. Art Dark. Dude, you need to mute the... Yeah, I kind of screwed up there, Art. You're correct about that. Melissa says, Michael Francis Lopez, I financially benefit from the ACA. However, I know several who did not... who did not die to higher household income, so their insurance double up or more. They alone influence votes. If it balance out when you deeply hurt one group and benefit another. Hence, now it's in the reverse. David Lafferty, hi David Lafferty. David says, being from Scotland, I swear to God, it's insane to me how your life in America can go from great to bankruptcy in the blink of an eye because of a broken leg or an illness. That is the crazy thing we live with. But you know what's the biggest problem? Because only a small percentage of people go through that every year. Eventually it'll attack everybody. But only a small percentage occur every year, and then people have a tendency to forget. And when you lie to them and you put fear into their hearts and their minds, that is the thing that we have to teach them against. And that's why we have the Politics Done Right, to try to tell folks, don't be scared. This is how things really work. David Lafferty, how can you be together again when your whole system is set up to break you apart? Oh man, Lafferty, you are so understanding of what we have here. But you know what? Don't worry about it. I think enough people want to do good now that's going to change. Lee Grant, if Booker or Harris is nominated, who would you be choosing for VP that will bring in the racist vote? Who would I pick for VP that would bring in the racist vote? Biden. I mean, believe it or not, but I don't think Biden will run for vice president again. But it would probably have to be Biden. But I think we've surpassed that now. I think the fact that Obama did what Obama did, the second iteration of Obama, I think proved that Americans are now comfortable. Many, even racist Americans, are now comfortable to say, I'm going to look at my pocketbook because I think it's okay. Because that's what happened in Obama's second term. Lee Grant, Tulsi is the only Dem candidate who likes America. Well, she's so served. She actually went and fought for America. So, I mean, I'm not going to argue with that. Melissa E. Noble, it wasn't the Dems. It was the backroom deals forced on the Dems by the insurance lobbyists if the Republicans were going to sign. And they didn't sign, Melissa. But I get what you're talking about. It's a crazy system, and that's why we have to. That's why we must change it. That is why not only we must change it, that is why we will change it. Folks, we're coming to the end of the show. We're in the 30 seconds away. I want to real quickly ask you to please go ahead and go to patreon.com/politicsdoneright. Again, that's patreon.com/politicsdoneright. We need your support. Be a part of the movement. Be a part of making things better. Do your part. Patreon.com/politicsdoneright. Again, that is patreon.com/politicsdoneright, or just go to politicsdoneright.com, and click on any button that you can do to either contribute, subscribe, purchase at our store, or do one of any of those things. I'm not pitching as long as I used to pitch every time before, because I think it turns off everybody. So what I just do at the end is ask you to please go ahead and subscribe to our program. That is how we are going to make a difference together. I thank you so kindly for giving me your ears, for giving me the time that you give me. I know your time is precious. I just thank you for allowing us in. Please continue. Please share. Please make sure that we have the tools to get the job done. If we have the tools to get the job done, there ain't no stopping us. If we have the tools to get the job done, and you see it right there, politicsdoneright.com. If we have the tools to get the job done, and you can see we're building the tools. That's why we have all the mixers and so forth. We need an upgrade in equipment. That is what we're going to do. Look, thank you so kindly. Whether you agree with me or not, you keep listening, you keep watching, we can actually have a good interaction. I thank you for being here, because we are going to make a difference. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you know how I end this, baby. I am what? Out.
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is the progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. Remember, you can also send me a tweet to EGBERTOWILLIES. That is, at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.
1, 2, 3, 4.